Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for another episode of Locker Room Talk Uncut. I am Drew Garrison in the locker room with Chad Penrod, getting into our big Super Bowl preview. Today we're going to talk the Super Bowl. We're going to talk betting the Super Bowl. We're going to talk about what players we would want from every team in the NFC North. Touch more on the NBA, some things that have happened with the Kobe Bryant development going on. Lots of good topics for you today. Lots of football talk. Going to get into the Super Bowl big time. Before we do that, though, Chad, Browns offensive coordinator Alex Van Pelt and new GM Andrew Berry. How you feeling about that?
Hey, I really like the Alex Van Pelt pickup. I know Bengals fans probably still don't know much about him, only having him 1 year, but kind of into Alex Van Pelt. He left the Packers in 2018. Actually, the Packers didn't want to re-sign him, pissing off Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, Rodgers was pissed.
Aaron Rodgers will vouch for that guy until the end. You can't base what he did off 1 year with Andy Dalton, who was on his way out.
His numbers still weren't terrible.
No. And looking back, I mean, not to say the Bengals didn't do the right thing. The Bengals did the right thing, benching Andy Dalton to see what they had in Ryan Finley. You had to do that just because. Are we going to take Burrow? It's me and you had talked about it. It's kind of like the Dolphins going to Rosen there for a minute and quickly found out, hey, fuck that. We don't want him. We'd rather play with 100-year-old Ryan Fitzpatrick. But so you can't. I mean, like you said. I mean, Andy didn't have a great year. The one thing that stood out to me this year with Andy was his decision making. He's never had great decision making, but there was times this year where he wasn't even under pressure, and I've seen a lot of bad decision making.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know why. I don't know why that is. I don't know. That really stands out to me about Andy, but Alex Van Pelt. I mean, I'll take him because Browns fans, you guys I know he's not a flashy guy, but you got to understand Kevin Stefanski was brought in here for one reason, and that's to get this offense going with all the talent that's over there. So it's going to be Stefanski's plays that he's calling. They're going to work, I would say hand in hand in this offense. I did see today that Van Pelt might call the plays. Doesn't worry me at all. Van Pelt is a seasoned vet. Like I said, and the main thing there, you got to love that Aaron Rodgers is just vouching for the guy. He was pissed when they let him go in 2018. So that one I'm very happy about. As far as the GM, Andrew Berry, I mean, I'll be honest, he was my third want at GM. I initially wanted Ed Dodds, assistant GM there in Indianapolis, and he was not leaving. I think he refused the interview. And then I don't know why the Browns fucked up what they had with George Patton. This guy has refused so many GM interviews over the years, just waiting for the right spot. And the Browns got 2 interviews with him. They should have really sunk their teeth in on George Patton and went that route. And Andrew Berry was third for me. He was actually with us 2 seasons ago when we had Sashi Brown there.
Moneyball.
And he went to Philadelphia last year and had his hands all over what they were doing with that team as far as the draft and being at the combines and doing all that. So he comes in, he's 31, 32 years old, very youngest GM. Yeah, my age. Youngest GM in the league. I don't know. I mean, like I said, my third choice. That's kind of a wait-and-see approach. I like Dorsey. Dorsey just made a lot of flashy moves, but if you look at the back end of Dorsey, in some of the later rounds, you're like, did he hit? Did he miss? I mean, time will tell on those guys. But we'll see. I'm excited for Alex Van Pelt, that's for sure, and I'll see you with Andrew Berry.
And getting into Van Pelt, you said that he may call the plays, and I'm sure that kind of remains to be seen. But looking to that, I almost think that's a good thing. Yeah,
because, Freddie brought in a very good OC last year from the Bucs and Todd Monken. He wasn't much of a runner, which we ran. Obviously, we had Chubb. But he did not want to give up any of that to Monken. Freddie didn't, and it fucking smacked him right in his face. So I'm with you. When I see that, I'm kind of like, that tells you a lot about Stefanski. Like,
Yeah.
Like he's going to trust his guys, and he's going to trust this guy to call the right plays.
Well, and that's kind of my take on it, because you look at a lot of these younger guys, Zach Taylor, Freddie Kitchens. I think he was fairly young. At least it was his first head coaching gig. These offensive guys, they come in and they say they're going to call their own plays. And correct me if I'm wrong, Hugh Jackson did his at least one of those years, right? Or did he always have an OC calling the plays?
I think Hugh jumped back in it in his second year when everyone started questioning what Haley was doing.
Okay, that sounds better. But the point that I'm making on that is these young guys come in and they've been a coordinator, or Zach Taylor's been just a quarterback's coach. And I'm gonna be a head coach. I'm gonna call my own plays. And I think a lot of those guys can get into an NFL game and realize, oh my God, there's so much shit I have to manage here.
Oh, yeah.
I got to be watching offense. I got to be watching defense. When do I take my timeouts? Am I challenging this play? Am I not challenging this play? Is my special teams ready? And I think that it's easy to take a job and be like, okay, I'm an offensive guy. I'm going to call my own plays. I'll get my OC to help me out, but I'm calling the plays. And then you get into it and it's real and you're in live action and you're like, oh shit, there's so much that maybe they don't consider. And I'm sure they consider it. They're NFL head coaches, but I err on the side of have a close relationship with Van Pelt, be on the same page with Van Pelt on what you're going to do. And I'm sure Stefanski will have suggestions, for play calls. And a lot of those, first drives of the first half and the first drive of the second half, they say are scripted. So they'll have a good hand on that, but let Stefanski, as a younger guy, coach the game, manage everything that he has to manage on the sidelines, because he's got to look at everything. He's the head guy, and trust Van Pelt to make the play calls. Now, we don't know if he's a good play caller or not, but that remains to be seen. But that'll be something that he and Stefanski work on together. I just err on the side of young guy, first head coaching opportunity. Don't overwhelm yourself.
Yeah, and and that kind of takes me to what I don't know if you had a chance to listen to it, but Jarvis was on Undisputed with Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp.
I was reading that.
Yeah, and they kind of asked, what was the problem? And towards the end of that, obviously you're going to have a scripted answer. You don't want to pinpoint 6 and 10 on anybody. But one of the things Jarvis said towards the end of that question, he said that he said that Baker and Freddie had a great relationship, but then Jarvis kind of turned to like, well, hey, you need to have a great relationship with everybody.
Right.
Like, don't get me wrong, the quarterback moves this fucking thing, but there's great players here, and you got to establish that coach player. I don't want to say mentality
like
or friendship bond. I don't know. What they call it there, but yeah, that sticks out to me. So I think that Stefanski is going to be more into all the players and not sit there and baby Baker, like we've said in the past. We thought that he did. And with Van Pelt, I just think that I would say that he's been in these discussions with other teams and had his hand in Aaron likes to do this, he likes to run these plays, or because
for Aaron to be that mad about them not re-signing him, he meant something.
Oh yeah, and I mean you got to understand those guys work hand in hand with with the quarterbacks. Van Pelt did, and kind of going back to Van Pelt, I mean, not saying much here, and this is no knock at your Bengals here, but Van Pelt was the best coach on the Bengals. I mean,
Zach Taylor should probably still be a quarterback's coach.
Zach Taylor is what Freddie Kitchens is. He's not ready. He's simply not ready. I don't want to. You know what? Actually, let's get into that. Let's get in that a little bit. I like the fact that the Bengals played for him. The entire season. But coming in your first season. Not a whole lot of talent there. I think you're trying to establish that. But this guy's, I think he's just in over his head, just like Freddie was, man. I think that he might do good with Burrow, but like we just started the show off with here, he's got to establish chemistry with all 53 men on that roster.
Well, I think comparing Freddie Kitchens and Zach Taylor is pretty easy to do. A couple guys that were in over their heads. That is one thing that I think that overall Taylor did better than Kitchens, was establishing a relationship with most of the players, because mixing
6 and 10 says different than 2 and 14.
No, he did better in that regard. You're right, but he Mixon never quit, and I said on the last episode, it felt like.
But where was he all year? You come in as a Sean McVay fucking guru. You know, you're coaching under Sean McVay. You shook his hand, and you fucking forgot about Mixon, except for the last like 3 or 4 games.
Oh no, Mixon came on when we got a left tackle back. He crossed 1,000 yards again.
If you listen to NFL talk and terminology and shit, the left tackle doesn't matter because that's where your protection come from. If you have the right tackle and you have the guards and the center, that's where you run. You usually run on the right side.
So fucking Bobby Hart.
Well, but that doesn't matter. The thing is, I mean, we can say, hey, towards the end of the year, Joe Mixon looked like fucking Joe Mixon. The beginning of the year, he couldn't find a hole. That's on McVay.
Taylor.
I'm sorry. That's on Taylor.
It is, but I think that there was a large improvement on the whole of that line when Cordy Glenn came back. Now, he's obviously not coming back next year, but I mean, he still ended the season. He ran the ball 278 times, 1,137 yards, 5 touchdowns is fairly low for your lead running back.
A lot of that, I would like to know the stats towards the back half of that. Not that you have to look that up there, but
he started picking up around like mid-November. I mean, his first 100-yard game, he had 93 against the Cardinals in like week 5, and then around the middle of November, he played Baltimore. 114 yards, no touchdowns, and then he put up an 86-yard game, a 79-yard game. The win against the Jets was weird. Our first win, he only had 44 yards, and then just ate the shit out of the Browns for 146, the Patriots for 136. Dolphins, that weird game, they threw the ball a lot more. I think he had like 50 yards, and then to close out the year against the Browns, 162 yards and 2 touchdowns. So
towards the back half is when that came.
Yeah, and
but that's Mixon. I mean, that's my point because listen, I'll take Joe Mixon even with the running backs we have. I'll take Joe Mixon in a heartbeat. I'm just saying. That's probably your best player on offense. Fucking use him.
Taylor was similar to kind of Freddie Kitchens in that regard, and actually worse looking at it because we've talked about how Freddie stopped running the ball. But, I mean, week 1, 6 rushing attempts. Week 2, 11. Week 3, 15. Week 4, 15. Week 5, 19. Week 6, 8. Like, he wasn't getting the touches, and then, they get to that Baltimore game on November 10th, 30 rushes. He gets 114 yards. No touchdowns, but he got over the 100-yard mark. And then it's back down to 15, 18, 19, 23, 25, 21, and 26. So, I mean, he didn't even have he had one 30-carry game. And that is on Taylor for your bell cow back. Now, I don't know how much of that goes into, I'd have to go back and watch a lot of the games and how they progressed. Did they get down big early? Are they throwing the ball a lot? Do they have to abandon the run to try to stay in the game? Who knows? But my point on Mixon wasn't so much his numbers, was it just didn't feel like he quit. It didn't Tyler Boyd in that Miami game, he knows if he stays down with his injury, it's a timeout and it's a loss of 5 yards because they're out of timeouts. It's a delayed game. He hops back up and grits through it to get the playoff.
No, that was a great, and that went overlooked.
It went very overlooked. I've always liked Tyler Boyd, but that was kind of like my hell yeah, like Tyler Boyd's in it for us moment. So I think the players overall stayed in it more for Taylor than they did Freddie. Now, of course, you guys got 4 more wins than us, and in the NFL, that's all that really matters. But in that regard, Taylor did a better job of that, I think. I don't think anybody really quit. Now, the Cordy Glenn thing is weird, though.
And I was going to ask you, I'm going to hit on that. Wouldn't you, just how well they played towards the back half of that schedule when Cordy Glenn came back, wouldn't you almost want to, and I know you're getting Jonah back, but listen, Jonah's coming in, he's going to be a rookie. I know he's not a rookie,
yeah,
but
it's
he's going to be a
effectively
rookie.
his rookie year. Yeah.
Cordy Glenn just made such a difference getting a left tackle in there. Wouldn't you kind of want to rekindle that relationship almost and be like, hey, show this kid the way? Because, dude, Cordy Glenn played great down the stretch.
If they can rekindle that relationship, yeah. I mean, he had a concussion in the preseason, and I don't know the exact week he came back, but it was after, I think, the halfway point of the season.
Yeah, I think they were 3/4 of the way already in, but there's something more there. There's something more there.
There was something. I think he maybe wanted out.
Yeah, I mean, you get those vet players, that don't really care where they're at a certain point in their career, and they're just like, let's win.
And if they can rekindle that relationship, I would be for it. But in the original plan, which was kicking Cordy Glenn into guard and having Williams at tackle, at that point, I think you've got an upgrade at guard because, they put Billy Price in there. He sucks. They shuffled that in and out a lot. John Jerry,
I like a vet protecting my Joe Burrow.
Absolutely, and I agree, but you're not going to kick Williams. And I think the only thing that I would do,
move him to right tackle.
And that's what I was going to say, but they got so much fucking money invested in Bobby Hart, and I know the Bengals, man. Unless there's an out in that contract we don't know about, he's suiting up and he's starting at right tackle next year. So if you want to keep Cordy Glenn, that's great. I think he can be a better guard than what we've had. He can still help mentor Jonah Williams. I mean, we've kind of gotten lost in it because he was kind of out of sight, out of mind. But, man, they raved about him. NFL ready, all this stuff coming out of Bama. He was, he could slide in and be your franchise left tackle day one. So, I mean, we're still kind of playing with house money with a rookie quarterback. Taylor's got at least another year, and knowing the Bengals,
if he falls flat on his face, say they win, they're going to win more than 2 games. Say they win 5 or 6. Is he going to? Would you want him to stay?
I don't want him to stay now.
No,
but knowing the Bengals, knowing how they work. I know that there was an element of a reset, and I don't think that they were going to grade him on much on this season at all. We as fans will, we as football fans and guys that watch the game will, but the organization, I really don't think they were. I think they start grading him and looking at him now. But, I mean, look how long it took him to fire the last guy.
Yeah,
16 years.
My whole point behind that is you're bringing in an offensive guy, and the offense looks like shit. The offense, I'll give him the offense started looking better towards the the end of the season.
It is a system change with a lot of younger parts and some older parts. So I can see that there's going to be some speed bumps there, but a lot of what his standing as the head coach of the team comes down to also is his contract, because we had Marvin Lewis sign a 2-year deal when I was pissed off and I wasn't watching the Bengals anymore and all that shit before they sucked me back in because I'm a fucking sucker. And I'm okay, he's here for 2 more years. Fuck. Well, come to find out at the end of that first year, well, it was a 2-year deal with, a last year option, so they're out. If Taylor is inked for 4 years with no out, he will be there for 4 years. Mike Brown would eat his own child before he ate $1 of a contract.
No, we agree there. Last thing I want to hit on this, kind of get back to Van Pelt here. I think Van Pelt would have been great with Joe Burrow. I think he would have been absolutely great.
If I knew Andy Dalton was the starter again next year, I'd be like, Andy Whatever. Is what he is.
With Joe Burrow coming in.
And Joe Burrow is the new guy, and the Bengals are gonna do what they always do, and they make an in-house promotion. Dan Pitcher is the new quarterbacks coach. Be honest with you, don't know a ton about him.
McVay's going to have to put him under his wing. I mean, you're the head coach there. That's just
you got to stop, man. He's not McVay.
Yeah, I mean,
he's Taylor. He's not McVay.
But you know how that is, man. If they're around McVay when they sneeze, that's what happens.
Yeah, I mean, and we were talking today in a group chat, man. Eric Bieniemy, when's he going to get a shot? He's more qualified than Zach Taylor, and I wanted him last year.
Now.
And I got excited about Zach Taylor, and I even think I remember you saying it was a good hire.
anything. No, I didn't say that. Just because of how unseasoned he was.
Right.
Young guy. I've always thought that the Bengals need they need what the Browns need. They need some older coach to come in that has some discipline.
Well, what I was saying to you guys before we did the podcast as the NFL season wound down, what Zach Taylor needed to do and did not do this offseason.
Vet coordinators.
Yes. I said that. Get vet assistants on your staff. Somebody that's been there, done that. You can lean on them. They can give you information. You can pick their brain, trust them with shit. And, he brought back, Brian Callahan. I don't know why I was shorting out on his name. And Brian Callahan as offensive coordinator and Lou Anarumo as defensive coordinator, who literally was like their 10th choice last year.
Right.
He was a DB coach for the Giants who sucked. And he's back, and it's just like I don't see where you improve your staff, and that's big. You're not going to drop Joe Burrow in there and just things. And as big of a Joe Burrow fan as I've been, I've had to tell people that I
need help.
I have to tell people that I don't think this way, because apparently the way I post things or whatever makes them think I do. I don't think Joe Burrow comes in and is the savior, and we're right there contending for a playoff spot. I understand that there is more that needs done for that roster. but does the organization? Because you're in the NFL age now where you have to spend a certain percentage of your cap space in a certain amount of years. The Bengals aren't allowed to be cheap anymore, but the problem is they spend that money on guys like Bobby fucking Hart.
Yeah.
Instead of the free agent pool where there's guys that can come in and make your team better now. Carson Palmer has been very vocal. I just read an interview where he's like, man, I was in Cincinnati. We had great teams. I had Ocho. I had TJ. I had Reggie Kelly. I had Chris Henry, rest in peace. And, we had it, but I still didn't feel like the organization was fully in on winning a Super Bowl. You can't just draft well because they have had spurts where they draft well. Right. But you can't just draft well and expect yourself to get to a Super Bowl. You've got to go spend money on free agents. You've got to do all of the things that the Bengals notoriously don't do. So Burrow's not going to be the savior. Veteran assistance was something that I felt like he had to get and he didn't. So I'm expecting at the very best next year 8-8. To be honest with you,
yeah, you got to be happy with 8-8 with a rookie quarterback coming in. That being said, there it is. Bengals Browns to open up the show. What do you guys think? Browns fans, do you like Van Pelt? Do you like Andrew Berry? Bengals fans, do you like Zach Taylor or Sean, a.k.a. Sean McVay?
And I guess get on your phone right now and Google who the fuck is Dan Pitcher. But moving on from that, we'll have plenty more time to talk about that as the offseason progresses. Let's get into one I had a lot of fun with last week, and we got some people on our Facebook commenting on kind of their take on it. But let's move on to the NFC North. Let's talk about which player from each team in the NFC North would you take and put on the Browns, or would I take and put on the Bengals starting, right now for whatever reasoning you want, who and why. So let's start with the easy one first, the Chicago Bears.
Do you want me to answer that?
I think anybody that's listening to this that knows football can probably know who and why.
Yeah. So Mitchell Trubisky, yeah. Come on now, Khalil Mack.
Easy.
Give me Khalil Mack on the other side of Myles Garrett, man. You want to talk about a freak? For the longest, I thought the best defensive player in the game. Don't get me wrong, top 3 best defensive player. Unfortunately, there's a guy named Aaron Donald who fucking can blow up a whole defensive line by himself.
Or take 4 of your offensive linemen away.
That's right. But, yeah, Khalil Mack, man, he does it all. I mean, he has games where he just takes over. He's right there with that, the Von Miller, back when Von was in his prime. Right there, in my opinion, with Myles Garrett, having those two on each side would just be, imagine trying to block that. That would be insane. But, yeah, I mean, that's easy for me. I don't even think I need to get in that too deep.
No, anybody that knows football knows.
Yeah, for the Bears, I'm taking Khalil Mack.
I'm going with Mack, too. I don't care what situation your team's in. I don't care how good they are, how bad they are. He's going to make you better. I mean, the Bears are held back by Trubisky, but look what he did as soon as he got there. And then John Gruden spent a whole season after trading him saying it's really hard to find somebody that can rush the passer effectively. It's really hard to find somebody that can get to the quarterback. It's really hard to get that dominant pass rush. All the shit John Gruden said after trading away Khalil Mack was just kind of stupid. But easy one there. Khalil Mack, come to Cincinnati. You can play with Dunlap or Carl Lawson or Sam Hubbard. We'll find a way to get you on the fucking field, I promise. Very, very easy. We've probably already spent too much time on that. That's just easy to know. Want to move on to let's talk about the Green Bay Packers. This one could be intriguing, could be easy. We actually talked out the AFC North kind of before we recorded, but this one we haven't. So where are you going with the Packers?
I mean, I like the Packers roster, honestly. I mean, there's a lot of people. I mean, obviously, we could sit here and say Aaron Rodgers, but to me, Aaron Rodgers has taken a step back a little bit here in the last few years.
He's getting up there.
Yeah, he's getting up there. Zadarius Smith, outside linebacker, great
Monster.
year, gets after the fucking quarterback. I love Jair Alexander. I think he's in his second year at cornerback with Kevin King. Amos, those and Savage, that secondary is fucking loaded, man. But my favorite Packer and the guy that I would like to have on my team is Devontae Adams. Just outstanding receiver, probably a top 5 receiver in the NFL. And I'm just loading up here, man. You know what I'm saying? I got AJ from you last last episode. I still got Juice. I still got OBJ. Now I'm adding fucking Davante Adams.
You only got one ball.
Yeah, I realize that, but
somebody's gonna be pissed at Baker.
Somebody's pissed, but no, man. I mean, Davante Adams just a fucking beast, man. He just the one knock on him is he's starting to get injured a lot.
Yeah, he only played 12 games this year.
Yeah, he's missing some games. I think he missed some games the year before. But when he's on the field, he makes his presence known, and that's what the Packers got to hit, man. Matt LaFleur was a great hire, a great hire for Aaron Rodgers and them boys. Obviously, they need to get a little bit more protection there in Green Bay. But another thing too, man, Rodgers was the best when he had multiple receivers. When he had Adams and Jordy Nelson and Randall Cobb. He's kind of limited. He's kind of limited right now. To me, he's only got Aaron Jones, and he's in the backfield. He throws it to him, but there's not a whole lot there. Or he's got Davante Adams, and Davante Adams had a few massive games this year. But they need some help over there.
Yeah, I could see that. Davante Adams would be somebody I'd probably pair with, Joe Burrow, Tyler Boyd, possibly AJ Green, and even if AJ were to leave the Bengals this offseason, he would be a great replacement. But I'm going to go to the defensive side of the ball, and somebody I believe you mentioned in that list. And for the Bengals, I really like Zadarius Smith. Kind of touching on what I said last episode when I talked about who I'd take from the Steelers, the Bengals need linebackers. So I got Devin Bush from the Steelers. I'm going to get Zadarius Smith here. Pair those two guys together. Looking at his numbers this year, 41 solo tackles, not mind-blowing, 13 and a half sacks. That would have been nice to have. Forced one fumble, so nothing crazy on the turnover side, but he just seems to be all over the field to me. He finds the ball. He's fairly athletic and can cover, some tight ends, not your more athletic tight ends, but coverage has been an issue for the Bengals. So I put Zadarius Smith down there next to Devin Bush, two guys that can cover. I think they can both kind of play all three linebacker positions fairly effectively. You want your middle linebacker, your quarterback, your defense. I'd probably go with Smith on that just because of the experience that he has over Bush, and then put Bush on the outside. And, these are two guys that, some guys you can't really rotate like that and switch in and out, but I think they're both athletic enough. They can both rush the passer enough to where you can swap them in and out. But I'm going to put Zadarius Smith in the middle, kind of hold things down, be that center fielder in the middle level of the field. Let Devin Bush kind of run wild a little bit more, pick up, some more experience and gain some more knowledge on those instincts. But Zadarius Smith and Devin Bush side by side sounds pretty good to me.
And, I kind of question that free agency pickup when they got Zadarius Smith from Baltimore.
Yeah.
It just seems like a lot of those linebackers hardly ever work out. they all almost seem like they're part of the system, but that isn't what happened here with Smith, man. He plugged right in and got himself. I mean, I know the Pro Bowl's not shit, but got a Pro Bowl under his wing there, and he just stepped in and was a big part of that Packers defense. Obviously, they can't stop the run for shit. But as far as getting after the quarterback, Zadarius Smith is an outside linebacker, a pass rusher that I definitely wouldn't mind having on my team.
And fourth round pick in 2015, so kind of earned his way up. He didn't have you don't have that many expectations for a fourth round linebacker. Kind of maybe found his fit with Pettin's system, or maybe just in that fifth year kind of found his game a little bit. But from what I saw from them, Rodgers would be easy, but I'm assuming we get Joe Burrow. Davante Adams would be easy, but I'm assuming we keep AJ Green, because whether he's franchised or gets a deal, I think he's a Bengal next year. Zadarius Smith would probably be my guy.
So I'm taking Adams there. You're taking Zadarius Smith. Let's go to the team that only won three games this year. Going to have another top 5 pick here. Let's go to the Detroit Lions. I'll start off here.
Do I have to?
I like the receivers. I like Galladay. I like Marvin Jones.
Already had him.
Obviously they got Trey Flowers. I don't know. I didn't really watch the Lions much, man, to really tell you how great Trey Flowers was. I know they paid him a whole lot of fucking money to come from New England. But they do have some good linemen there. Frank Ragnow.
We should have had him. We panicked and took fucking Billy Price.
But I like him as, the center there. I like Taylor Decker. But the guy that I'm going with, to me, the only choice to go with here from the Lions is Darius Slay.
Yeah.
He's just has been a lockdown corner. Can guard those number one cornerbacks. And if you put him on a number two, it's pretty much a lockdown. I do think that, if I'm not mistaken, Darius had a bit of a down year. Not necessarily a down year. He had, to his standards, I think it was down a little bit. But to me, he is by far the best player on that team. I don't want nothing to do. I don't say I want nothing to do with him, but I'm not a big Stafford guy. And if I'm going with one guy, I'm going with Darius Slay.
It's hard to go against Slay. I mean, he's seasoned. He's been around the league. It's not very entertaining to agree, I guess, but I think I have to. I move on from Drake Patrick. I save that money. I think it's like $17 million the Bengals can save by getting rid of him, which I expect them to do. I give that money and maybe a little bit more to Darius Slay, and I put him on the other side of William Jackson III. Darqueze Dennard would still be our slot corner. I don't know if he'll be back or not, but he was pretty effective as a slot corner. Not very good on the boundary on the outside. But Darius Slay, William Jackson III holding down my secondary. And I picked up Earl Thomas to put back there with Jesse Bates on the last episode. So if we're going to bring them all in together, I'm putting together a pretty formidable defense over there. So pretty hard to, find a roster with 3 wins and know that there's a few guys to choose from,
Yeah, I mean, you kind of watch those guys as the year goes on, just because you're like, hey, who's going to get that first pick? Man, but the Lions, I'm not a Matt Patricia guy.
No,
I don't like.
He's a fake ass Belichick.
Yeah, I don't like. I don't know. I don't like that.
You're gonna make your team practice in the heavy snow and freezing cold when they got 4 indoor games coming up. They had 3 or 4 games in an indoor stadium, including their own, coming up. And Matt Patricia thought he was gonna be a tough guy and make them practice in the snow and shit. What?
Yeah, I don't know. There's some coaches that work off the Brady tree, off the Belichick tree, and there's some that just doesn't.
A lot don't.
You almost think Matt Patricia eventually is going to end back up as the DC of New England.
Probably so, but I don't know. Bill's grooming his son up, man. His son's got a badass mullet too.
So let's go to the last team here in the NFC North. So far, I'm taking Devontae Adams from the Packers. We're both taking Khalil Mack. And then I'm going with Darius Slay there.
Yeah, I am too. Yeah.
And who'd you take from who's your 3 there?
My 3. So
Zadarius
Khalil Mack, easy. Zadarius Smith, and I agree with you on the Darius Slay take. Just because I'm thinking about that roster, there's just not a lot of talent there.
Okay, and so I'm gonna go here with the Vikings, man. They're another team, man. This is we love Mike Zimmer. Mike Zimmer's a great coach.
Should have been the head coach of the Bengals in 2013.
And I'm a Stefanski guy. Obviously, I have to be now.
You don't have a choice.
I was kind of going in. Obviously, I'm not going to sit here and lie. I wanted Freddie last year. It just made too much sense.
Right.
But Stefanski is just. They're not looking at him like, hey, he's the next McVay. They're just saying, hey, this guy has a chance to be pretty good. He has a lot of respect around the NFL. But I could go a lot of ways here, man. Obviously, I think the Browns need a linebacker. Anthony Barr. Anthony Barr would be great to have. Eric Kendricks constantly leads that team in tackles. He had over 120 tackles again this year. Obviously, I could go Adam Thielen or Stephon Diggs, but goddamn, I already got 4 badass receivers here.
Yeah, what are you gonna do? Run 5 wide all the time?
So what I'm gonna let Kareem go ahead and I don't know what he's doing.
Go to jail.
Go to jail, smoke his pot, whatever he needs to do, and I'm gonna pair up Dalvin Cook with Nick Chubb in the backfield there in Cleveland. Man, Dalvin Cook, what a year, man. I remember the beginning of the year, fantasy football, everybody gets together. I'm in 4 different leagues, and I didn't want anything to do with Dalvin Cook.
The injuries.
And, man, did that bite me. That dude stepped up, had a great year, fucking fast, finds the holes, great vision. just it can catch the football. He does everything, man. And the offense looked good. And for a big part of the season, man, they gave Dalvin Cook the rock and just watched him go. So yeah, I'm going Dalvin Cook.
Reunite him with his boy Stefanski that had him, get that year. I love Adam Thielen. I love Stephon Diggs. I like Kyle Rudolph. A lot of those guys I like. Looking at I'm trying to keep the theme of I know who I've picked from these other teams as well, building my team. I'm going off that. Harrison Smith is one that I love. Anthony Barr is one that I love. There's a lot of good stuff there, but I'm going to go with Adam Thielen coming in, being Burrow's go-to guy out of the slot. Because and that's weird because
probably catch over 100 balls.
Yeah, and Boyd can play the slot. He can play the outside. Ideally, I think Boyd is a slot, but Thielen can go play the outside too. So I think that he'd be a good safety blanket for Burrow. Doesn't talk a lot, does things the right way, came out of nowhere, worked his ass off, earned every dollar of that contract that he got.
I love Adam Thielen, man. He just like you said, does it all.
And I can see AJ being a security blanket for Burrow too. If he's there, he's up in the air. I think Thielen would be a perfect guy to slot in and work with Burrow. He just seems to, he seems like no matter who's playing quarterback, he's got a good enough relationship with him where they have a certain amount of chemistry. I've loaded up my defense here on these picks, but right now I'm going to go offense. I'm going to put Adam Thielen out there with John Ross, with Tyler Boyd, maybe even AJ Green, because you can only count on Ross for about 3 games. He'll play 3 games. He'll play 4 games.
Like a Pro Bowl at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, he'll play 4 games, have like 6 touchdown catches, and then trip over his fucking shoestrings and rip his hamstring off the bone. So, Thielen, he had a little bit of an injury concern this year, but other than that, I'm willing to bet that he bounces back and stays on the field for all of 2020 season. So, I gotta go Thielen.
And there you guys have it. We kind of hit on this on the last episode. We're going to keep this thing going. We're going to head back over to the AFC on the next episode, see where we'd go. We'll do a different division every week. Every episode. Just want your guys' feedback on that. Who would you take from the NFC North? I know some people's already stepped in and gave their opinions on that, but we want to know. Even if your team's not in the NFC North, who do you want from the NFC North? And if you don't say Khalil Mack, come on in, man. I'd love to just punch you right in the face. No, but I like everybody's opinion, so everyone has one. Drew, this one
I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off here, but I just got a text message saying to look at Tom Brady's Instagram. I mean, I'm learning this as we're on the air. No caption on this picture. There have been rumors today of him enrolling his kids in a school in Nashville. There have also been rumors of him buying property in Vegas amid the Raiders rumors. This picture is a black and white picture. It looks like Brady walking in, or it's hard to see. He's
almost looks like he's looking into the stadium, Gillette Stadium.
Like he's standing in the bowels there in Foxborough. The ground's wet. It's a black and white picture far away of him. It looks, I can't tell if he's walking in toward the tunnel like he's walking off the field for his last time, or if he's walking out to get a look at it. But this almost gives me the feeling
he's gone.
That this is like a goodbye, or soaking it in one last time. And this is just from one of our buddies that texted and said that to look at it. That gives me an initial feeling. This is just my initial reaction that he might think he's going somewhere next year.
Brady don't play like that. Brady's not the type to post shit like that, man.
Or is he retiring?
Oh, that's a good question, too.
Willie McGinnis has commented on it. It says, match lit, now blow out. He's got a pretty good relationship with...
Or is he talking about...
Or
hey, here's your time in Foxborough. New England, are you leaving? Are you ready to light another match? I don't think Brady's done. I don't.
No, dude. I don't think it's retirement. He has been so set for years on playing until he's 45, and why the fuck wouldn't he?
Tom, if you could, man, just
give us a call, man. Check our Facebook out.
Give us a call. Let us know first. But if you would, hey, the NFC really needs you, man.
Yeah, man.
The NFC needs you. I just think you'd do great over there.
That wasn't planned for us. I didn't mean to cut you off there, but
no, that's breaking news. The first breaking news drop here.
We've got breaking
in the
news
locker room.
And as you guys hear this, you can go over to his Instagram and see what we're talking about, and let us know your thoughts on that. I might throw this picture up here later on our Facebook page. Get some ideas. I just got another Bleacher Report. Fans are trying to decipher the image Tom Brady posted on Twitter. He must have put this on Twitter as well. So that's something that we can weigh in on.
Where's he going, guys? Let us know. Hey, Drew thinks Tennessee. I didn't hear Oakland. I don't like that.
I heard that. Well, they're going to Vegas, and I heard that he bought property out in Vegas. But
you could buy. Anybody can buy.
He is not
property out there.
Well, yeah, anybody can buy property, and he is not going to go get in a dick measuring contest with John Gruden.
Yeah, I don't like that.
John Gruden's not going to.
I don't like the fit.
John Gruden's he at least tries to be too tough and too old school, and I don't think Brady's gonna
Tennessee,
fuck with that.
Man. When you brought that up, it
there.
It stuck with me. I think, man. Hey guys, like you said, give us your feedback on that. We want to know, what does Tom Brady mean on this Instagram/Twitter post? Is it nothing? Is he retiring? Is he going to a different team? Let us know. What is Tom Brady up to? And Drew, kind of want to get away from the NFL there before we head back into that with the Super Bowl. Head to the NBA players, and there's some owners around the league. Mark Cuban being one. Looks like they're going to retire 8 and 24. Like it's almost like it's a player's decision. Like NBA, even if you don't do it. The players, we've agreed we're not going to wear 8, we're not going to wear 24. And then the NBA logo, a lot of these players, there's a petition out with millions of people that signed it.
I think like 3 million.
Wanting Kobe Bryant as the new NBA logo. What do you think?
I think the players voluntarily retiring those numbers is very cool.
Great gesture.
It's an awesome gesture. It's an awesome way to pay respect. I'm wondering, though, are they doing it to try to send a message to the league to get the league to do it?
Before we jump into that, this is just what I love about the NBA, man.
There's a brotherhood.
There's a brotherhood in the NBA like there is nowhere else. I mean, like, you can tell, man. There's these guys. These guys are in pain, and they loved Kobe Bryant. They loved everything he was about. They loved everything he was about. They loved what he brought to the game. They loved what he meant to the game, and this is just a great gesture, man. I'm with them. Retire 8, retire
absolutely.
24.
And Quinn Cook wore number 2, and he said, well, that's Gianna's number. He's like, so I'm going to change. I'm going to wear 28. I'm going to honor her with 2 and Kobe with 8. I'm going to wear 28. And there's been talk and a petition to go around for the Lakers to kind of do an honorary jersey retirement of number 2 and put Gianna up in the rafters.
There's no doubt 8 and 24 is retired as a Laker.
Yeah, I mean, they already are.
I mean, that's right, they are.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's the first to have 2 jersey numbers retired. But yeah, they're talking, and I don't know, how far that'll go, but them hanging up the number 2 for Gigi, which I think is really cool. But these players, there's brotherhood in the NFL, there's brotherhood in the NBA, but it just, man, these guys. Dudes are they took it hard. We hit on the last episode. There's guys just crying and hardly able to talk about it. Kyrie couldn't play. I think it's really awesome. And when it comes to the logo,
I love the idea.
I don't know if you saw Jerry West's interview about Kobe after it happened.
He was tore up.
I mean, how he talked Kobe out of leaving the Lakers to play for the Clippers when they had their little spat. He talked about a lot of things that make me think that he would not care one bit to give that honor to Kobe. And Jerry West has been on record saying he didn't want to be the logo. He just ended up being the logo. I think that he would be fine with it. And that's one of the legends, man. Now, you can't change the logo every time somebody passes,
This is rare. This is a very rare occasion.
At 41 years old, and he still has such a firm. He had his hands all over the NBA still.
Yeah.
Duke, our team, did a great tribute with 8 and 24 warm-up shirts. There's been so many good things. We could talk for hours about all the great honors and gestures that we've seen around the league, but sticking to the jersey number, I think that's one of the coolest things you could do. I know Spencer Dinwiddie went from 8 to 26.
Or 20 or whatever.
Something like that. And to do that a lot of these guys will say, well, I wore 8 for Kobe. I don't think 8 should be worn anymore. I'm switching. Jahlil Okafor went from 8 to 9. And Quinn Cook's way, do 28 for both of them, I think is pretty cool as well. So I'm all for it. Do it, Mark Cuban. That's amazing. I expect more teams to follow suit, and it wouldn't shock me a bit if the league followed suit. And, people think 23 should be retired. I think it eventually will be throughout the entire league. Lucky for all of us, Michael Jordan's still here. Unfortunately for us, Kobe's not. So I think that, the league is going to end up doing it. And I think that it's a very cool gesture and a way to remember one of the best to ever play the game and honor him and the fact that his life was terribly cut so short.
I'm with you. This feels like the right thing to do. No one's going to be pissed about it. Like we said, the players are already doing it. So will anybody even come in wearing 8 or 24? I doubt it. So
somebody said they weren't changing. I can't remember who it was, but I saw a tweet. I don't think it was a big name player, but somebody. I don't know their reasoning, but I just remember seeing that they said that they will not.
You better have a pretty damn good reason not to follow suit with all the rest of the players.
And R.J. Barrett said that he no longer wants to be called the Maple Mamba because of Kobe, to honor Kobe. I'll be honest with you. I followed RJ at Duke all year last year. I don't think anybody fucking knew that he went by the Maple Mamba, so I think he's safe on that. But man, shout out to every NFL or NBA player, that has changed that jersey number. Lots of cool messages written on their shoes, all the things. It's been amazing to see, and
definitely
it's brought the world together. Sports fan or not,
man. Hey, this is why we love sports, man. And,
absolutely.
Like you said, man, shout outs to all the players, all the teams, all the coaches and the owners and the NBA just, coming together.
Yes, sir. So let's transition into the Super Bowl here. Big game Sunday. This is obviously something that we could talk about for hours. I'm going to get into the line, the betting, and all the things you need to know with my good buddy Tim Combs, betting expert. Tim, what's up, man?
How's it going, guys? Thanks for having me on the show.
Hey, what's up, Tim?
So what's the line on this thing, man?
The line I got, it started out at -2 for Kansas City, so 2-point favorites for Kansas City,
Easy
but it's
money.
Dropping. Yeah, well, that's what I think too. The line's dropped, though. It's -1 now, and most of that's partly due to Mattress Mac. I don't know if you guys know who that is. The dude owns a mattress store down in I think it's somewhere in Texas. He's super loaded, but he threw $1 million on the Niners.
Oh, so $1 million?
Yeah, $1 million. Well, he also threw like $7 million on the Astros to win the World Series, and look how it turned out. So
fucking cheater.
That's
so
right.
This is pretty much a pick 'em, right?
It's pretty much a pick 'em. Yeah, it's -1 right now. I personally think Kansas City is going to win by 10. I capped the game myself at 42-32. I think it's going to be super high scoring, even though I know San Francisco's got a crazy D. But I think it's going to be a super high scoring game. One of the lines that I think is the craziest line is Kansas City's team total is only 27 points. I think they're going to score 42. I don't think 27 is going to be that hard to cover.
That defense, though, man?
Look, Niners got a good defense, but I've also seen them give up. They gave up 29 to the Falcons. I mean, the Falcons were down this year. Pat Mahomes, the last, what did I got down here? I think, let's see, the last 4 games for the Chiefs, they're averaging 37.4 points, their last 4. And I know they had, I think Kansas City kind of had an easy playoff road, if you ask me. But I think Pat Mahomes I think this is his game.
The Chiefs are hot right now, man.
The Chiefs are hot. That's what I'm riding the Pat Mahomes arm.
So I'm guessing Pat Mahomes, your Super Bowl MVP,
Yes, that's going to be correct.
He's going to whip his dick out and just throw it all over the place.
I'm thinking Pat Mahomes is he's going to be having ketchup on his fucking steak Sunday night after the game's over.
Give us a quick stat line. What's Pat Mahomes' stats going to look like?
Ooh. Well, so that's another bet. So the cool thing about the Super Bowl is they have prop bets for every stat you can think of. Who's going to have the most passing yards, rushing yards? They even have a stat, I got it wrote down here, is what color Gatorade is going to be poured on the winning coach.
No way.
So you can get some odds on that right now. Right now, red is favorite.
What are you going with?
I'm going with red because
I like it.
So the last couple of years that the Patriots won, it was blue. So I think teams try to go with like whatever color they are. So the Chiefs are red, the Niners are red. I'm going whoever wins. I think it's going to be red. So if you want to bet on that, I would try to lock in red.
I like that bet. I like that a lot.
How long's the fucking the national anthem going to run? I know that's a good bet.
Oh, that's a good bet too. I think it's over. I think the odds on it's over under like a minute and 45 seconds. Who's singing it? Do you guys know?
I don't know that.
I don't know
not
who's
sure.
singing. Some of these chicks sing for a while. I would take the over.
Dude, it's going to be fucking Lizzo, and she's never going to shut up.
Oh, well, then, yeah, take the over for sure if it's fucking Lizzo.
I don't think it's going to be red Gatorade if the Chiefs win. I think they're going to dump a tub of KC Masterpiece barbecue sauce on Andy Reid.
Oh, shit.
Hey, Tim, I got a question for you.
Yeah, go for it.
If this is a blowout, is there a chance at a blowout? If this is a blowout, who wins in a blowout?
In a straight blowout, who? I think, honestly, if it's a blowout, the Niners.
Yeah, see, that's where I'm at, too.
If I say that, I only say that because if it's a blowout, then that means the Chiefs just fucking – so the Chiefs' last couple of games, as I know you guys have watched, they haven't done anything the first about 2 or 3 possessions they have, and then they score about 50 points in a row.
Yeah.
So if that happens, though, against the Niners, I think they could be in trouble. If their first 3 or 4 possessions in the first quarter, they don't score any points, I mean, the Niners have a good D. I'm banking on Kansas City starting out hot and just going from the beginning.
Yeah, but if the Niners, shut them down and they do start slow and they can run the ball and control the clock and get up to a 2, maybe 17.3 score lead there in the first half and just keep dominating the game with that running game and chewing up the clock, man, I think you're right. I think if it's a blowout, it's the Niners. Yeah,
agreed. I think, like I said, I think Kansas City might cap the game at 42-34. That's what I capped the game at. But like I said, I think it's going to be high scoring. But if the Chiefs' first 3 possessions they don't score, I think they're going to be in trouble. They got to score first, and if not, then I'll be kind of worried myself.
They cannot.
As well.
The Chiefs cannot do what they did against Houston. They can't get down 24-0.
No, you're right.
No,
yeah,
Shanny will just run the rock down your throat and he'll just keep Mahomes and Kelsey and Hill and everybody on the sideline.
Yeah, dude, if they're down 24 like they were at Houston, you can chalk that game up. They ain't coming back from that. Not against the Niners. D's too good, and they run the ball too well.
Dude,
that's another thing you can bet on. You can bet on rushing yards and who's going to have the most. And
that's the Niners either way, right? That's where I'd put my money.
Yeah, what's his name? Mostert?
Yeah, Mostert, however you pronounce it.
Yeah, Mostert, yeah. Lock him down. His over-under is only 77 yards.
Oh, he's over that.
Yeah, over for sure, 100%.
I think that they're looking at that Titans game and what the Chiefs did to Derrick Henry, but I think that this is a completely different animal.
Yeah, and can the Chiefs keep that up?
Man, I think Henry only had 85 yards. I think
69.
Yeah, I think 69.
69. Oh,
nice.
My favorite number. Yeah. 69. Yeah. So 69 yards. I mean, if they hold Mostert to 69 yards, then we might be looking at a blowout the other way.
Oh God! If they can stop the 49ers rush, the Chiefs are going to win by a ton.
And it's looking like Tevin Coleman's going to play too, so he's another wrinkle to it that can get hot.
I think, like I said, I think this is going to be a crazy high-scoring game. The over-under for the whole, both teams combined, the whole game is only 54 points. So they have it capped at 27-26 is what Vegas has it capped at. I think they're both going to score over that.
Yeah, and I just think if the Chiefs shut down the run, though, I don't know if Jimmy Garoppolo is going to score a ton of points, man. He looks like he should be a backup singer for fucking NSYNC or something.
He does look like that. I actually saw a stat today that Garoppolo only threw 2 or more touchdowns in like 4 of his 18 games this year. I don't know if that stat's true, but I thought that was pretty crazy. I didn't realize he hadn't thrown that many multi-touchdown games. But they also, when they score 50 points, they have like 6 rushing touchdowns. So you take the good with the bad, I guess. But
the one thing that I'm hoping we get, and I think that we're going to get, is a fucking great game.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I think the refs should help with that, keeping it close. At one way or another, I think if the game starts getting out of control, I think, obviously you're good for a couple pass interference calls or something to get the other team jump back up. But I hope it's a close game. I hope it's not like a fucking what the Niners played the Redskins earlier this season. The score was 9-0. I
hope not.
That Rams Patriots Super
Please
Bowl.
don't do that.
With as much as you bet and as much as I know that you watch from your personal betting experience, I mean, what's the line or what's the number on total points that they're having scored? Have you looked into that?
For each team?
Yeah, just combined total points for the game.
Yeah, they have total points for the game at 54.
Okay. And you think 42 of those go to the Chiefs?
What's that?
And you think 42 of those go to the Chiefs?
I think this game's going to be in the 60s or 70s. I think it'll be I think they'll pass the 54 mark sometime in the third quarter.
Okay.
I could be wrong. I've been wrong before. Vegas has got me plenty of times, but just looking at the last few games, I mean, even the Niners, their last 3 or 4 games, they're averaging, I think, just over 30 points their last 4 games. The Chiefs are averaging 37 almost their last 4 games. So, I mean, it leads me to believe that offense is just going to run rampant. So
Tim, your final prediction is Chiefs 42, 49ers 32, correct?
42-30. Yeah, 42-32. Yeah, I think I misspoke earlier.
You know this is going on the internet, right?
Yeah, go for it. 42-32.
We know a lot of the same people, bro.
Lock it in. Like I said, I've been wrong before. I hope it's a high-scoring game. I originally, before I saw the lines come out, I had it 34-27, but then I was like, I threw an extra touchdown in there for each team, so that's why I recalculated me to 42-32 is kind of where I think we're going to be at.
Dude, I hope you're right. I want a shootout.
Yeah, I'm going to take note of this, man. I'm going to holler at you. Appreciate you calling us in, giving us a lot of your really good knowledge. We've been talking sports betting for over a year, and I know that you're always the guy to go to. And I do want to point out that Tim Combs earned the first top fan badge on the Locker Room Talk Uncut Facebook page. So first right. Top fan.
That's right. Hey, guys, before I go, I just want to say thanks for having me, and rest in peace to Kobe and
yes, sir.
Gianna. That was just crazy, man.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. We appreciate you, Tim. We'll post this thing up, man. Have your friends check it out, get your take, and then make sure to join our giveaway. We're going to give some details on that, too. You got all this knowledge, you might win it. And we're going to
Absolutely.
We're giving it out to Roosters, I guess.
Yes, there we go. Roosters.
Fucking trash.
Hey,
right.
Thanks, Tim. Appreciate it,
Appreciate
man.
it, brother.
See you, Chad.
All right, man. So good stuff from Tim, man. He's
Great
real
stuff,
knowledgeable
man.
on that. So with
I like
what we
that
learned there, some stuff that honestly I didn't even know.
You can bet on every fucking thing.
Yeah, the Gatorade color.
How many times is Andy Reid going to eat during the game?
Dude, I would love nothing more than to be on the biggest stage in sports and just see Andy Reid on the sidelines fucking huffing down a hot dog, like right in the middle of the third. So let's get into our predictions, man. We've been kind of teasing about them since the wrap-up of Conference Championship weekend. Super Bowl, man. Chiefs, Niners. Who you going with, brother?
You know, the majority of the people that I have talked to, the majority of the people that's commented on Locker Room Talk Uncut's posts are going with the Chiefs. I am here to tell you that I am not going with the Chiefs. I love this game. First of all, this offense against this defense, and
It's gonna be good.
Oh, it's gonna be awesome. I can't wait to see what happens. If this is a shootout, I think that I'm with you guys. I think I'm leaning more towards Kansas City, but I don't think it's going to be that, man. I don't think that Kansas City has seen an animal like this. Now, I do agree with Tim, that Kansas City has had an easier path. They didn't have to play, the Patriots, and they didn't have to play Baltimore. They were lucky, and Tennessee took them out.
Yeah.
The one thing that does scare me that I will admit here is the 49ers has lost, was it 3 games this year?
Yeah.
They've lost 3.
Yeah,
one being
so.
the Falcons, who I don't know. I don't know how that happened. But the other 2, Baltimore, Lamar Jackson can run, and I don't care if it's in division. Seattle, and they have Russell Wilson, who can take off when he needs to. And guess what Pat Mahomes can do? He's almost like a Russell Wilson as far as athletic ability, in my opinion. I think Russell's a little more athletic, but Pat is not athletic. He can take off and he can run, and that's the part that scares me. But we've mentioned it. We mentioned it last week. This offense of the Chiefs and this defense of the 49ers are going to match each other for speed.
Yeah.
The Chiefs offense has never seen speed like the 49ers defense. And I'm not sure if 49ers defense, outside of Lamar being at quarterback, has seen speed that the Chiefs are going to bring.
That's true.
With that being said, I'm going opposite of Tim here. I got the 49ers by 10.
Niners by 10?
In a great game, and I think that they get a late field goal, I think this is close all the way, and I think that, I don't know, under 3 minutes, under 4 minutes, they kick a field goal and go up by 10.
Jimmy G drives them into range?
I think that Pat Mahomes plays outstanding, but I think that the game ends on a Pat Mahomes interception.
Ooh.
Even though I'm with Tim, I think that it's going to be more scoring than not, but I think the 49ers defense is going to be able to hold them when it matters. And like he said, they cannot come out and start slow. The Chiefs cannot do that.
No, they have to get on a hot start.
I don't know who's going to stop this run. I don't think anyone's been able to stop this rushing game of the 49ers, and I don't see Kansas City being able to do it. And I believe that opens up the play action, and I think Jimmy can make the throws when they're there. But, hey, this is going to be all run game 49ers, all defense 49ers to get the job done. That is my prediction. 49ers by 10.
Wow. Okay, so your point about the Chiefs and their slow start, they cannot get out to a slow start. And as I said when Tim was on, let San Fran run the ball, grind that clock out, keep them on the sideline. And on the other side of that, if they do get out to a hot start and they can put up 17, 20 points in their first, 3-4 possessions, that puts a lot of pressure on Shanahan and Jimmy Garoppolo, because you and I both know Shanahan will stick with the run.
Well, yeah, I mean, NFC Championship, he threw the ball 6 times.
But here it comes. Younger guy, first head coach in a Super Bowl. You find yourself down 17 points midway through the second.
You think the 49ers are down 17?
I'm not saying I think that. I'm kind of playing devil's advocate to that point here. If Shanny finds himself down 17 midway through the second, does he abandon the run? Does he start trying to throw it? Does he start kind of getting outside of what he's done all year? Because that pressure, man, that pressure hits Belichick.
Like Super Bowl pressure.
So does that happen? I don't know. My prediction, I've been wrestling with this, and when we have talked on previous episodes where we say we're not going to get into our predictions and all that, I've been saying that I'm conflicted, and I still really am, man. I think this is going to be one of the best Super Bowls we've watched in a long time.
Don't get me wrong. If the Chiefs win this game, I'm totally cool with that.
Yeah, absolutely. Getting down to where I have to make a prediction, last episode before the Super Bowl, am I right or am I wrong? And if you guys listen to my conference championship predictions, those were way fucking off. So maybe you don't put too much stock in mine if you're going to put money down, but I have to lean towards the Chiefs. You make a lot of great points about the Niners defense. They've got a great pass rush. They've got all of that. But, man, I've seen so many big games, so many big football games come down to quarterback play. And when I think of Pat Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill, Sammy Watkins, I just don't know how the Niners hold those guys down for 60 minutes. I think that they probably have a great game plan. I trust Saleh. I still don't know how to pronounce his name. I trust him to have a good game plan coming in. He's one of the best D coordinators in the league. But man, how much planning can you do for speed like that and just so many weapons? The running game, San Fran's going to dominate the running game. I don't see any way that the Chiefs rush for more yards than the Niners. I just don't see it. But I just think come late fourth quarter, it comes crunch time, even if they just need a field goal, man. How often have we seen Pat Mahomes drop back, scramble for a little bit, and find Tyreek Hill 60 yards downfield? Or how often have we seen him find Tyreek? Tyreek makes that first guy miss, and next thing you know, he's just tacked on 40 yards after the catch.
You're absolutely right.
So I'm going to come down to it. I'm going to say that the Chiefs are going to win by 7. It's a close game. It's a good game. But when it comes down to it, I trust Pat Mahomes to make the play more than I do Jimmy.
And I don't think that that's a wrong answer. I think this game can definitely go that way. Where I think the game is going to be made up at is the Kansas City Chiefs offensive line versus that front seven of the San Francisco 49ers.
Nasty, man.
That to me is what we want to watch.
Right.
Because if they're getting after Pat Mahomes and he's, having to throw off his back foot and throw across field, to
shit
try
that he
and
does.
make a play, he can do it. But,
looking the other way and shit.
But it hasn't worked as well this year as it did last year.
True.
So that to me is where it's at. That offensive line versus that front seven. And right now, I cannot go against the Niners, man.
It's really hard to sit here and make a firm prediction on it. This is easily a game where I could go in and say it's going to be a toss-up. One thing I don't think happens, I just can't see any fathomable way. Maybe I should just use my Wes Carrollton words. I don't see any way that this game disappoints.
No, I don't either. I don't think I see a blowout. I think I see a shootout before I see a blowout.
Yeah, and I think I agree with you guys. If it is a blowout somehow, some way, it's the Niners.
There's just too much adds up there. When you look at blowouts, the 49ers are going to dominate on defense and they're going to run the rock, and that's how a blowout is going to happen. If it happens, I don't think it will, but if.
There's no way this game disappoints. I don't think there's any way Shakira and Jennifer Lopez disappoint at halftime. All right, sorry.
Yeah, your girlfriend's upstairs.
Oh, she didn't hear. It's soundproof. We got blankets and shit up. I'm probably sleeping on the couch. So let us know your thoughts. Obviously, we love to have you guys involved. Big Super Bowl party going on at your house. You got 7 crock pots, and I'm gonna bring probably pizza because I'm a cheap fuck and can't cook.
It's gonna be a fun one, man. I can't wait for Sunday night. And,
we got a good weekend going on. Monte Carlo Saturday night,
yeah.
Unlimited beer, some blackjack, some gambling.
If anyone's interested in unlimited beer for $10, let me know.
Yeah, get a hold of us. I can plug you in.
Come in and play some blackjack with us at
poker,
the tables,
right?
And some poker, and let's talk some sports that night too, and have a few beers. That's what we like to do.
And coming into the Super Bowl, we're going to be active. Maybe maybe some live tweets or something from our Twitter page. Maybe some updates, to engage with you guys on there. Let us know what you're thinking about. Big weekend, man, and we've had some really good ones coming up, but nothing gets me excited as a Super Bowl, man. I watch the World Series, but I don't get excited for the World Series.
There's 7 games, possibly.
The NBA Finals are really exciting, especially because I've seen the Lakers in them and win them. I've never seen the Bengals in a Super Bowl. They were before I was, old enough. But man, no matter who's playing, man, that Super Bowl excitement. There's not quite anything like it.
Yeah. And Drew, let's we got a big we have a gift certificate to give away. You guys heard when
Roosters.
Tim called in. You guys, the people spoke the way that we knew they were going to speak, and you lose big, frickers.
If you want us to give you a gift card for shitty food, we'll give you a gift card for shitty food. You guys spoke. You can have Roosters. Frickers, all the way.
So what are we doing? We're gonna do I don't know, it's a $40 or $50 gift certificate to Roosters, and Drew's gonna tell you how to win that.
We're gonna put a post out on our Facebook page.
When this is posted, you're gonna have tonight when this is posted all the way until
an hour before kickoff.
5 o'clock on Sunday.
Does it kick off at 6?
It's like 6:30, but we'll make it 5 o'clock.
Okay.
You have to.
What we're gonna do is you have to like our page on Facebook. We have to see that you're liking it and following us. We're gonna need you guys to share the photo because we do want this to grow and get big. I want as many people in here making predictions as possible. When the game is over, I want to have to sit down and scroll through all these comments and do all this math. Make me do all that shit I don't like doing. To figure out who won this. We had good interaction in the conference championship weekend. We had some really good stuff there. Troy won, hit it nail on the head. So you'll like our page, you'll share our post, and then comment on the original post with your prediction of the total points scored. We actually gave you a little insider information with Tim on here.
And the winning team.
And the winning team. So If I'm a person that wants to enter this and win the gift card, I'm going to go to Locker Room Talk Uncut. I'm going to find the post. I'm going to comment Chiefs win by 7 as I predicted. And with the total points scored, I'm not going to give you guys my insider information on that yet because Tim already gave you enough. So like the post, share the picture, comment winning team, total points scored. Whoever is the closest without going over will win. If there is a tie, I will go live on Facebook. I will write your name down on a piece of paper, put it in a hat, shake it up, and I'll draw it that way. This is one where somebody's going to have to win. It's the McGregor thing. It got a little weird. Somebody's going to win this, whether it's 5 people's names in the hat or it's 20 people's names in the hat. We're going to share this. We're going to get this going. We're going to have a few days for you guys to look at the betting lines, look at the injury reports, get what you're thinking, have it in by 5 o'clock Super Bowl Sunday. Enter for your chance to win a gift card to Roosters so you can go have some subpar chicken.
And there it is, guys. We're going to open that up as soon as this episode is posted. We'll be followed by a picture of the 49ers and the Chiefs, and that is where you want to comment.
I'm going to try to find Andy Reid shirtless.
And, hey, that's all we have today for you guys. Really appreciate Tim calling in. Really want your guys' feedback and really want to give this gift certificate out to someone who enjoys Roosters food.
Most of you do. So maybe I'm wrong, but I'm going to stand on the Fricker side for the rest of my life, but maybe I'm wrong. I put it up on my personal Facebook like a year ago just off of a work debate, and it blew up and Roosters won. So I'm not going to rant and rave over that any much. I fucking lost. I got to take my L. But that's all we got for you today. Super Bowl preview. Like I said, tune in, comment, like, all that good stuff. Let us know what you're thinking. Thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of Locker Room Talk Uncut. Get ready for Monday night, our big Super Bowl recap. Who was right? Who was wrong? Probably fucking me. Thanks, guys, for tuning in. We'll see you Monday.